she considered a credible witness? I mean, there's some talk about her not reading the full Miranda rights to Rivera at the time of his arrest, and that is creating problems, right, for his confession.
No question, Derek. This is a key witness for the
Okay.
prosecution, as well as the defense. So it's going to go in two different directions. The prosecution is arguing that this was all inevitable discovery. So even though there were problems with the Miranda warnings and problems with Rivera's confession, that because he voluntarily agreed to the search of his vehicle where blood was found and ultimately the DNA matched Mollie Tibbetts, that law enforcement would have found the body inevitably. And one of the primary arguments they have is that the body wasn't buried, it was in a cornfield. So it's just a matter of time before they found it. The defense is arguing that this was not inevitable. They would not have found the body. And this is all what we call fruit of the poisonous tree.
Mm.
Because the confession was tainted, all the evidence related thereto that came after should similarly be tainted and suppressed. So these are all issues that are going to be argued on appeal. For now, for our purposes in this trial, the confession after the second correct Miranda warning is coming in. The body in the cornfield is coming in. The blood in the trunk, everything is coming in. But this will all be relitigated up through the Iowa Courts of Appeal. That's why this witness is so critical to not just this case, to the inevitable appeal.
Right, but as you mentioned, this is really a lot of evidence that is piling up against Rivera, right? I mean, blood in the car, the surveillance video of the car, kind of following Mollie Tibbetts around, the confessions as well. All of this really adding up and pointing to Rivera as the murderer here.
Oh, I agree. I think he's going to be convicted by this almost all white jury out there in Iowa. He's an undocumented Mexican citizen. A lot of evidence that at least has been admitted in this trial, right? He's stalking her. There's video. There's these admissions where, he had an argument and he got upset and he blacked out. I mean, he literally takes law enforcement to the precise spot in the cornfield where her body is disposed of. The blood in the vehicle. So he will be convicted by this jury. There's no doubt in my mind, and it will be a quick conviction. What the defense is trying to do is uh, plan on relitigating these issues that have already been litigated in the trial court up through the appellate court.
And we should mention, though, this trial had a little bit of political implications, right? Former President Trump brought this case up as an example of why immigration reform during his presidency needed to happen because there was this danger of immigrants, in the case of this man, a Mexican national, coming into the U.S. and committing crimes.
Yes, not just the former president, but the Iowa governor got involved in this case. And that's one of the reasons it had to be moved to a county 100 miles away. But still, again, a very different political makeup out there in
Sure.
Iowa, jury makeup. It's going to be hard for this particular defendant to get much sympathy over there, given the highly politicized nature of this murder. The fact that, elected officials at the highest level are talking about this case.
Right. State of Iowa versus Christian Rivera in the murder of 20-year-old University of Iowa college student Mollie Tibbetts. A lot of evidence really stacking up against Rivera, including, as we mentioned, the surveillance video, blood in the trunk of a car, and really two confessions that have been allowed